2023 had some amazing RPG surprises, but also some others that kind of weren't so great. And there may or may not be one that I know a lot of you actually love, but I just couldn't get into for the life of me. And so it's time for me to rank all the RPGs that I played in 2023 from best to worst. Remember, this is my opinion, so you probably won't place the games in the same tiers that I did, but that's the fun part of this videos. I want you to share which were the best and the worst RPGs that you played in 2023 down in the comment section. Now I'm gonna start by giving an honorable mention to a few games that either I brought myself or the company or the developer or the publisher gifted to me, but I didn't have enough time to play, but I plan to change that in 2024. And these are Baldur's Gate 3, Diablo 4, Star Ocean Second Story, and Sea of Stars. I can't wait to explore the worlds of each a bit more when the JRPG chaos of February 2024 calms down. So let's start with the A-tier RPGs of 2023. These are ones that I highly recommend, but they have a couple of flaws here and there that I will mention to you. And the first one is gonna be Atelier Remake. What a sleeper hit JRPG of 2023, and it's such a shame to not see more people talk about it. Playing as Mary, a Magic Academy student who is failing all her classes like there's no tomorrow, and trying to help her succeed, was a ride full of cozy and cute vibes, with the occasional darker storytelling from some of the students you meet and interact with. This one's perfect for those of you who want to get into the Atelier series. Maybe you've tried to get into a couple of them before and found it difficult. I think this will be a great way to start. You can toggle time limits on and off for the most part, and both the turn-based combat and synthesis are easy and straightforward for a beginner. It also has replayability value because you choose who you want to have in your party, which means you can develop a friendship with someone else, as well as unlock many different endings for the game. The gripe that I had with this one is that even though I toggled the time limits off, it was on for some of the side quests, but you know what? I took the chance to spread the love for it in every collab that I joined in 2023 because I truly believe it's worth your time, especially if you want a JRPG on the shorter side. I'm gonna leave my before you buy for it in the pinned comment if you want a more in-depth look for it. Let me tell you about something that goes hand in hand with the crazy amount of times that I have spent playing RPGs, and that is, I wish I had a better chair to use because my back has been killing me. And thanks to Flexispot, they sent me this amazing chair that is so worth investing in, and I'm so happy that I have it now because I feel like I'm sitting on a cloud. Let me tell you guys, the BS12 Pro is a game changer. I struggle so much with being on my desk all the time, and since getting this chair a week ago, I can get a lot more work done comfortably without feeling paralyzed and then being stuck in bed for hours after, where I literally cannot move and I even struggle to go to the gym. I'm always annoyed by the chair that I'm using, which is the chair that I'm sitting on right now. I only use this for filming, otherwise everything else I've been using the BS12 Pro, and my back has been thanking me for it. Flexispot is here to change the game. You have 3 button adjustment features that make it easy to set up the chair however you want to. So if you struggle with your chair and want something more comfortable, check out the links in the pinned comment and the description box because they do have a New Year's sale running right now. I highly recommend that you invest in a better chair. You can thank me later, and thank you so much to Flexispot for sponsoring this video. Back to our A-tier games, and the next one is gonna be Silent Hope. This is another sleeper hit JRPG of 2023 in my opinion, and you know, some days I just want a mindless RPG where I can just play and mindlessly shoot enemies, kill them, and not really think about having a strategic way of defeating bosses. Silent Hope was that little break that I needed to play as one of the 7 heroes trying to rescue a princess that is trapped in her own tears. I really enjoyed going down the dungeons, gathering resources, then going back up to the camp to craft new and better gear so I'm better equipped for the next dungeon dive. But my favorite part was switching between the heroes. They each have their varying fighting styles, so you can play as a mage, a heavy-hitting warrior, archer, and more. Also, the aesthetic of Silent Hope is very cute. I really like the color palette as well, and overall, gathering loot and then rinse and repeat momentum entertained me for hours. The gripe I had with this one is how annoying the princess can be, which turns out you can actually shut her up, so please do. And also, it does take a long time for you to craft certain items, as well as the the enemies getting a little bit repetitive very quickly. I have an in-depth before you buy for it if it intrigued you, so I'm gonna leave it for you in the pinned comment. Another A-tier RPG is gonna be Atelier Ryza 3, and I was thinking like, should I put it as an A tier or a B tier? But the more that I thought about it, I'm just like, you know what, it's just gonna go here. Ryza and her friends are back again, and they are so freaking quirky and fun to get to know, and the crafting system in this entry is really enjoyable. The open world gives you a lot to gather and find, and the art style is beautiful. Even though when the game first released there was that annoying blur effect around the character, which you can also find in Atelier Remake, but now you don't have to worry about it. And you know what, I love the synthesis here, even though it can be a little bit complicated for newcomers to the series. However, the combat had some difficulty spikes at times, and I really don't like it when JRPGs do that. All of a sudden the game just gets really difficult, and here I have to just go on a grind fest. I just really don't like grinding. So this one is gonna sit between A tier and B tier, but again, let's just leave it here for now. I'm gonna pin my stream for it because if you're interested, you can watch the beginning hours of it and decide if it's gonna be the game you're gonna play next. On to the next one. It's another one that I really had to think deeply about first having it in this video altogether, because while it is set to be an RPG, when you play it you're gonna see it's more of an action adventure with some light elements of RPG in it, but also it did put me in a really bad game slump after finishing it. And I'm talking about Final Fantasy 16. This was a roller coaster of a game with a story that kept on giving but also kept on depressing the hell out of me. Since finishing it in July, I did not manage to finish a single game after it. And you know what? I was actually doing really well at the beginning of the year, tackling my backlog left and right. I enjoyed the combat and the icon battles. They were freaking majestic. Like, the number of times I was speechless just watching things unfold on the screen was flipping crazy. But the side quests were boring at best, and I feel like the story content was stretched out to be 40 hours when honestly it could have been just 20 to 25 hours max. But regardless, the cast is memorable. Clive, Jill, Sid, Gab, really everyone managed to capture my emotions, and I was so invested in all of them. But again, the story was so dark, it was so depressing, and it overstayed its welcome. So for that, I really can't put it on the S tier. And the last game on the S tier is gonna be freaking Starfield BAYBEEE. And yes, I've seen all the negativity going on the internet. I still flippin' love this game. It's my baby. I adore it, okay? Like, this was my most anticipated RPG of 2023. I kind of threw also a tantrum in 2023 saying like, yes, I cover cozy games, but also I freaking love RPGs. And the first dedicated RPG video I made was about Starfield. I have 30 hours in it so far, and let me tell you, the factions definitely keep me on my toes with their quest lines. The overarching story is intriguing so far. The gunplay is so damn good and smooth. The skill tree is really fun to mess around with, and there's just so much lore behind everything. It just makes you feel part of the game. However, I was expecting it to be an S tier game, and to be honest, it just isn't. The traversal system is so bad. Being stuck on that loading screen time and time again as you travel to new planets is just not it. And I'm really sad that Bethesda used procedural generation in a way that made many of the planets just feel repetitive. As a massive fan of Skyrim and Fallout 4, I really wish Bethesda poured more heart and soul into the making of Starfield. I really hope that the new updates slowly shifted around and make the world just more easy to navigate and explore, especially as we get ready for the Shattered Space DLC. Moving to the B tier games, these are ones that I had a good time with, but they just failed to capture my attention long enough. And the first one is gonna be Super Mario RPG. I was so excited to try this one out, especially I just wanted to get a taste of what the fans have been talking about, and I just wanted to get a glimpse into the nostalgia that they were talking about. Of course, I never played the original one, but it's always very beautiful to get to experience something that is very near and dear to my community's heart, so I just wanted to try it. Getting to add more members to your party and exploring the different abilities they have while tackling the main quest along with other side quests was certainly fun, but I just couldn't get into the game and felt like combat was difficult even on easy mode. Like, listen, I felt like there was difficulty spikes thrown in very quickly, and the gameplay did get repetitive for me even with the mini games incorporated. Don't get me wrong, this is definitely a very cute game, but it just simply wasn't for me. I certainly understand the charm to it, so I put it in the B tier rather than the D tier. Now, if you're new here, when I do my rankings videos, I do something different than other channels. I skip the C and the F tier and I'll just have the D tier. These are games that I just did not enjoy at all. It doesn't mean that they're terrible. Sometimes they might be, but again, at the end of the day, they're just games that did not agree with my playstyle. And the first one is gonna be freaking Trinity Trigger. What a disappointment that was. When I saw the trailers, I was so excited to dive into this one, and in my before you buy, I share how much of a letdown it was. I'm gonna leave the link to that video in the pinned comment if you want to learn more about what really happened playing that game. As I mentioned, I love mindless RPGs where you level up, you kick some butt, you get better, rinse and repeat. Trinity Trigger was mostly a headache for me. The AI is so dumb, and of course you don't want an AI in the game who's just gonna make the entire game easy to play and you're not playing yourself, but an AI that makes your life hard for no reason and makes you not enjoy playing a game is just not worth it for me. Also, some of the dungeons had just really annoying and tedious puzzles, and when I was playing the game, I was playing it with no guides or anything like that because I got the game before it was released, which means I couldn't get any help and I was just getting stuck dungeon to dungeon, and I said in my before you buy, I just dropped the game. I just couldn't enjoy it and I can't recommend it unless it's on a deep sale. And the next one is gonna be Fire Emblem Engage. I adore Three Houses, and as I was getting into Engage, I knew that one of the biggest factors that made me love Three Houses, which is the slice of life elements, is not gonna be intertwined into the gameplay, but I still wanted to check it out to see what a more focused storyline and gameplay would look like. I remember everyone making fun of the characters and comparing them to Colgate, but on a serious note, I really like the character design, but let's be real, jumping from cutscene to battle to cutscene to battle, it kind of just burnt me out. So I kind of dreaded going into the next battle. Like, these also get really long, which is a Fire Emblem thing, but when you're just going back to back to back, I just couldn't enjoy it. So the moment that I got burnt out, I kind of couldn't get myself to playing it again. And the other game that I just could not enjoy for the life of me, and I'm so eager to see all the pitchforks in the freaking comment section because I know everybody freaking loves that game, it's Octopath Traveler 2. Two things that can instantly put me off any game are grind fests and random encounters. Two factors that Octopath Traveler has a lot of. I cannot explain to you how much I wanted to enjoy this one. I mean, have you seen the art style? It's stunning. Have you seen the characters? They're so intriguing. Like, I wish I could just get the chance to get to know them, but this one is just not welcoming to people like myself who are slowly getting into turn-based combat, and the random encounters plus praying for dear God to have a freaking save point, it just made me very anxious and I was not having a good time. Does that mean that the game is bad? No, it simply means it just wasn't the one for me. So if you are like me and you're new into turn-based combat, I cannot recommend you try Octopath Traveler 2. Now, I love wrapping up these ranking videos on a positive note, so we're gonna talk about the S tier RPGs of 2023, and we're gonna start with one that is a hybrid of farming, crafting, and RPG elements. It's not RPG as in like the things that you think of like Witcher or Fallout or whatever, but I'm talking about My Time at Sandrock. My Time at Portia was my 10 out of 10 farming game, but with My Time at Sandrock, we have even more RPG elements implemented through the skill tree, so I had to share it here. This is perfect if you want an RPG that is a bit different. As I said, it's different than the typical RPGs that you play out there, and it's also perfect if you want to get more into crafting-based games. Sandrock adds a lot more quality of life features than its previous entry, so you have better graphics, characters, gameplay, and storytelling. The world is very different as well. It is set apart from the more tropical settings that we have in other farming games, so being in the desert adds a lot more challenge that will impact your gameplay. Add to that the resource gathering along with crafting and having massive blueprints to build. It's just a bundled package of fun. I want to play it more. I've said it before, my friend Anna freaking adores the game, so I can't wait to just wrap up Coral Island so I can give more time to My Time at Sandrock. And the next S tier game is Cyberpunk 2.0 with the DLC Phantom Liberty. I was so salty about the game when it initially released. Then I finished it and covered it in my Squishing the Backlog episode, so I'm gonna leave it for you in the comment section if you want to see what I thought. This game is in my top 5 RPGs of all time, next to Witcher 3, Assassin's Creed Origins, Skyrim, and one more which you're gonna find out about in a bit. And what I can say is the 2.0 update revamped Cyberpunk from the ground up, giving it a fresh coat of awesome gameplay, smoother mechanics, a better skill tree, and more. Plus the DLC just took it from 0 to 100 real quick, the events are freaking crazy, the voice acting is top tier, and the characters are so well done. I cannot wait to play more. The way the story has gripped me, it's just so good to fall in love with an RPG like this again, and it's one that I highly recommend you play as soon as you can. Now, before I share with you my RPG of the year, we're gonna give a bubbly shout out to the comment of the day, and you can have yours featured in the next video by simply leaving a comment below. Today's bubbly comment of the day is gonna go to Chazelle, who said, "I'm waiting for Grand Blue Relink since it was announced for some years ago, and I hope it won't disappoint." They said that on the 40 upcoming JRPGs collab that I had on the channel last week, and it's so good to see Grand Blue Fantasy Relink finally it's here. Like, we're finally gonna try it. You guys probably played the demo. I haven't yet because I'm just gonna wait for the full game because I am covering it in and before you buy, but I get you, it's so good, and I don't think it's gonna disappoint, but still, let's see and find out. So what was Miss Bubbles' RPG of the year? It is freaking Hogwarts Legacy. I'm absolutely in love with this one, and yeah, that's the 5th top RPG of all time for me now. I fell in love with the world, the characters, and the lore. Roaming around the world was beautiful. Traveling using a broom, going to Hogsmeade and seeing people reflect on what was happening, completing so many quests. It was a fun time. The world is simply magical. Somehow just made me feel like a kid, and I freaking loved it. We played the game together on Discord, which was so fun, and you can check out the server. I'm gonna pin it for you in the description box because we do play together there and share our experiences so we can have some friends to play and tag along with. But as someone who never cared about Harry Potter, the magical world, the music, God, the music, I still have it in my background anytime I'm studying or doing some chores. The combat as well, just the whole game was one unforgettable experience that I think everyone who's an RPG fan should try. What were the best and the worst RPGs that released in 2023 for you? Let me know in the comment section. Thank you again for Flexispot for sponsoring this video, and watch this video next because I have 40 upcoming JRPGs that you definitely need to know about. Thank you to my YouTube and Patreon bubblies who make videos like this possible. Thank you for watching, and a shout out goes to the games I mentioned, Jacob, Stephanie, Steven, and Logan for going the extra mile. Until next time, stay bubbly.